So I'm going to talk you through a very similar story to from Harry's and what we're doing in Musgrave around voice shopping. So first, a bit about myself. So I have 15 years experience in product management. I've been in grocery retail for the last 3 years, and I've been working with the guys here for the last number of months. So the first thing is about Musgrave. So not quite as impressive numbers as Harry's, but in a combined sales in Musgrave of 5.2 million, and we feed 1 in 3 people in Ireland every day. We have around 1,400 stores, which in a country of the size of Ireland, both population and geographical, is quite large. We have 11 kind of main banner brands. So we've lots of own brand labels and all behind this, but these are our top level stores. So we've SuperValu, the kind of neck and neck, the leading grocer in the Republic. Centra's far and away the largest convenience store. We have a couple of smaller convenience brands that are on Daybreak and Mace. We have Donnybrook Fair, which is a kind of premium retail brand in the Dublin area, and then we have a couple of different wholesale brands. So Marketplace, LaRue's Foods, and then Frank & Honest is our coffee brand, which is now the largest coffee brand in Ireland. So there's just a couple more kind of numbers here about the scale of Musgrave in Ireland. So one interesting thing, and it'll kind of come out as I talk through this, about Musgrave is it's a 140-year old organisation. It's still a family-run business. It's still owned by I think the 6th generation of that family now. And we employ directly and indirectly, so 41,000 people. So I'm going to talk to you mostly today about SuperValu. SuperValu and Centra are both franchise brands. So we work with independent retailers. We supply into their stores. They own the stores and sell out to a franchise. But we also own a number of franchise operations ourselves. So we have company-owned and operated stores and independent retailers. So that 41,000 number is across all of those stores and our own business. That makes the group the largest employer in the country, second behind the state. And then just some kind of numbers. So I'm going to focus in on SuperValu today. So SuperValu, these are, we haven't got 2019 numbers to share just yet. They'll be slightly higher than this. But 2018 SuperValu retail sales were 2.9 billion. And SuperValu is about 24% of the grocery market in Ireland. So again, just to focus on SuperValu, so across the whole island, there's about 250 stores, which again would be the largest. So SuperValu. SuperValu is our grocery supermarket brand. It has a reputation for kind of quality food, for food inspiration, excellent customer service, and really the kind of key or the USP for SuperValu is that independent retailer piece. So it's kind of unique local producers and kind of good quality fresh food. That's SuperValu's selling point. So what I'm going to talk to you today about is online shopping with SuperValu. So we've been doing online shopping with SuperValu for 10 years. So it's quite an established business. Similar to Harry, it's a small percentage of our business. It's about 2.5% of our sales are online, but it is far and away the fastest growing piece of the business. So we've seen kind of year-on-year growth of between 20 and 25% for the last 5 years running, and it's kind of steady at that number. So when I talk about SuperValu and the Musgrave piece around independent retailers and all the brilliant things that SuperValu does in its normal stores, for me as kind of digital product manager for SuperValu, what we're brilliant at in the store makes digital really difficult. So each store has its own assortment. It's owned by an independent retailer who sources products from Musgrave and sources products locally. So all the assortments in all of those stores are different. The prices are different, the promotions are different. So it becomes a massively complex thing to put in front of someone as a single digital proposition. So the first one, what I kind of started to talk about there, is the assortment. So we have, most of the stores have a core line of between 4,000 and 15,000 SKUs, which is not massive compared to discounters and stuff. It would be quite large, but there's then the extended range of local lines. So there's around 100,000 SKUs of just grocery products in the SuperValu brand, which, if you think about, we're not a hypermarket, so that's just grocery, just food and kind of household items, is very large. Of the 250 stores I mentioned, we have 110 of them at the minute offering online. The problem for us and that model of the independent retailers is, I kind of use this example a lot on the right-hand side. The red dots here are 2 SuperValu stores. and it's just outside the centre of Dublin. They're owned by 2 independent retailers. They run their own businesses, run their own P&Ls, and these are both of their delivery areas for online shopping. So it's kind of simplified slightly. It's into 4 zones they deliver to. They have different slots in each one, but the key point is the grey bit, the overlapping area there. So these 2 retailers that we supply both offer online stores through our site, and they compete. So if I live in this shared area, I go onto the site, I put in my address, and rather than us really cleverly routing, this is how we'll do, this is how we'll efficiently deliver your groceries, both these stores then compete to try and win that customer in our store, in our online store, and deliver to them. So vans pass each other in the street, lots of really kind of complex things that ideally we would try to avoid. But the one I'm going to try to talk to you today about is search. So when I started with SuperValu, kind of digital product management was a very new skill set in the business. So there hadn't been an awful lot of analytics or data around how people use the site, what they use it for. And one of the examples actually that you mentioned, Harry, we had a massive, we thought we had a huge conversion issue because we would see people build these baskets and they build them over the week and they would never check them out. So we kind of reviewed checkout flows and did all the kind of classic things to try and figure out what's going on here. And it was only through kind of qualitative research with customers that we discovered that we don't have a shopping list feature, but what customers are doing are building the list over the week, adding it to the basket in the app, going into the physical store, and then removing the items from the basket when they're in the store. So it's not a feature we built, but it's a feature that they've built themselves and that they use. It's a live hack, exactly. But that kind of insight and stuff is new into the business, to find exactly what customers are doing and to kind of sculpt our roadmap towards what customers are using our app for. So one of the massive things that stood out for me was search, and we use transactional NPS, or we do now, to kind of monitor customers' feedback when they've used the app, when they've placed a shop, whatever. So this is from the last kind of 12 months. So you can see search, and it was slightly lower than this. So it was around 41% of people who used the app were saying that they had a positive experience with the search feature. So you can kind of flip that around to say most people are or were unhappy with the search. So we've kind of focused in on that. And the reason I was mentioning the assortment earlier is one of the other kind of key trends that was quite low in NPS was what customers kind of describe as the range of products online. And these two are really tightly coupled. So like 32% of people there in November were saying they are happy with the range of products available online. So this is when they come in, they pick their own local store and they can't find the products they want. And that would be like a local bread or whatever it is, but it's a really popular sales lines in these local stores. Then they can't find them when they come onto the site. And what we've realized is we did a whole kind of content audit to say, what products are they looking for? Are they there? And they are on the site. So we have taxonomy problems, they're in the wrong category. We have search problems because that independent retailer has called it something that doesn't have bread in the title, and all these kind of search issues that we can kind of work our way through and attempt to fix. So we have seen a good turnaround. So we are slightly higher again than those numbers, but you can see it's gone from 32 to 43. Still not ideal, but a much higher percentage of people who are saying they are happy with the search. And some of the things that we've done in search is, I kind of use this slide because it's very difficult to explain what we did. First off, we swapped out the search engine so that it now works, is the first thing. So this is, when you search for eggs, the first things that come up are eggs. And where we've come from, that sounds very basic, but that wasn't the case to begin with. So the search is kind of, it functions, it delivers the results customers expect. We've added filters, so you can filter down by any kind of category options we have. So this one, own brand or Quality Irish, is like a tag on products in Ireland that kind of identifies them as Irish made, or you can filter by brand. One other thing that we did that was quite interesting is we started to do predictive search. So as you start to type, we return search suggestions. So before you get the search results, we're returning products that we think it is. So these are done then by popularity. So the most sold product comes to the top. And then we added imagery to that, so we can actually see a fall off in people even getting to the search results because we're able to prompt them with the product that we know that it is that they're looking for. So why I'm kind of talking about all this around search is that we had a huge job to go from where we were with search, with it really poorly performing, to try and get it to like a function of the site that people can use. And we've seen really good return on it. So 80% of our transactions now would have, the person would have searched to find some of the products in the basket. And we've seen a 25% increase in the search results page of the add to basket action. And what we can take from that is they're now relevant results. But that was quite a turnaround to try and fix that. So from my point of view, we've kind of fixed a technical debt issue in our search, but where we looked from that is, where is search going and what do we need to be doing now to make sure that we never end up in the position where we were previously? And some of the stats the guys mentioned at the start around voice. So again, I've seen all these stats as well, like the 50% of searches will be voice, and it doesn't feel like that. I've seen the stats and you think, that can't be right. So this is an interesting kind of marker from Google. So they use this kind of level of readiness in markets for voice, and they've classed Ireland here in the middle, that voice usage is increasing rapidly, but screens are still the preferred medium. That does kind of feel like where we are. 25% of homes now in Ireland have a smart assistant, which is massive percentage lower. I think the US number you used was 75%. So it is a little bit behind, but again, that's growing massively. It's 25% now. It was 0%, let's say, 3 or 4 years ago. So from that, I kind of took voice as something that we need to get out in front of and figure out how are we going to do this. So when you talk about voice, the thing that people mention is, okay, well, you're going to build an Alexa skill, or you're going to integrate with Google or whatever. So some of the things that I had to consider in thinking about that is Amazon in particular, and Google as well, the ownership of that and the ownership of the customer. So if we were to build an Alexa skill, we're basically handing Amazon a lot of information about our customers, what they buy, the really valuable information that we have as a grocer around the rewards program. We know on a product level what you buy, how often you buy it, and to integrate with one of them, that risk is definitely there. So we really need to consider that quite deeply, as that if that's something we're going to do. So what we've done, there was 2 things I wanted to learn basically. So I want to try and make an informed decision about this and whether that is the right way to go. And we've been working with the Speechly guys now for maybe, I suppose we got in touch maybe 6 months ago, and we started to build what I'm going to demo to you now in kind of October time, which was ready for Christmas. And what I'm trying to test is, we've built a very simple voice interface, which I'm trying to figure out, does the guys' technology work? The same question that Harry had. And then our users' propensity to use it. So again, we have our kind of demographic is young families. A big kind of life event change, like kids basically, is when people kind of migrate to online shopping with SuperValu. So what I wanted to test was, do they want search? Is it actually the thing that we need to be thinking about and doing next? So I'm going to show you what we've built, and we're kind of a step behind and ahead in 2 ways. So we only launched this in beta, so internally over the last couple of weeks. So just before Christmas, we shared it with colleagues, and people are using it in friends and family. And we've actually launched it today with a set of power users. So we've contacted people who use the site, frequently use it every week. So that's a couple of thousand people have gotten this this morning to say, do you want to trial this new feature? So what we've done, and hopefully my demo works as seamlessly as Harry's. So what we've done is actually, I have to end this, and sorry, I'm just going to change the screen so you can see exactly what's on mine. And okay. So what we did, and one of the other things I should have mentioned there actually is, we've lots of problems similar to search, where we have to go in and fix a really clear customer problem that is obvious from all the data that needs to be fixed. So we have a huge backlog of things that are being worked through. So to try and bring something like this to the top and kind of learn quickly and figure out, is it something that people want? It was very important for me that it wasn't something that I had to deprioritize something else for. So after search, there were really obvious things that we're also trying to fix. So what we've done with the Speechly guys is basically, on the Speechly platform, we've built, to our look and feel of SuperValu, a voice shopping list. So basically, I'm going to try this now. So if I look for bread, eggs, milk, Guinness. So one of the things I was concerned with this to start off is my own accent, as an Irish accent, doesn't work perfectly with Google or Alexa, but it's safe to say that I don't have a very thick accent as Irish accents go. What we've tried in testing this with even our headquarters is in Cork and testing it with really kind of thick Irish accents and just to see, is this something that will definitely work? Obviously I saw the Finnish version, which to me looks like it works, but you know, I don't know what you're actually saying. So, but what we've done here is basically, it returns similar to Harry's, the most popular version. But what we've put in is basically a swap. So this Avon More Fresh milk. I can see all the other matches that were there for milk. So there's our super value version, which is what I buy. I can swap that out very quickly. The same for the eggs. So similar to what you saw in the suggestion earlier, that's the most popular product, but I can swap it out for the particular one that I buy. So we've built this completely self-contained on the Speechly platform. It sucks in our products, our product titles, all that kind of stuff. But what we've also done then is attempted to integrate it with e-commerce. So we're really looking at this to see, again, is it something that's going to be an in-store use case, or is it, will it work for e-commerce? So if you see the basket option here, what we've done then is we take all of the product IDs for the shopping list that I've made here. We add them to trolley. So what this does, you might catch it there very quickly. It's gone. The URL, basically, you'll see them comma separated. They are our product IDs that I just passed across to e-commerce. So if I then, you're now on our actual e-commerce site, so I have to sign in. And if I go to my basket. So again, this is our e-commerce journey. So you have to have a store selected because of the retailer issue I talked about earlier. And you have to have a collection slot or a delivery slot booked to see your basket. So if I just pick a slot for tomorrow, you see the products there in the basket. So I think there's a lot of learnings we can take from this to try and figure out, is this something that people will build? Will they use it? So what we're going to do is, what we've launched today is the email to our kind of frequent users. And what we'll do, kind of once there's no issues from that kind of cohort of customers, is we're going to publish this just on our homepage to say, you know, trial our voice shopping feature, take them out to the Speechly app where they can build a list, and then bring them back into here. So we're really trying to learn, I think from our testing and stuff, we can see that the product works, that it's at a level that's kind of close enough that it's useful, that a customer would want to use it. And what we're trying to test is voice for our customers in particular. Is a voice shopping list something people want to do for grocery? Because again, our average is about 50 items in the basket. You know, it's a complex back and forth relationship. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Any questions?